The 1970s. A decade of change, creativity, and most importantly, innovation. From space exploration to computers, the technology that emerged in this era set the foundation for much of what we take for granted today. So, let's travel back in time and explore the technological innovations of the 70s and discover how they shaped the world as we know it. Chapter 1. The Personal Computer Revolution. Imagine a world without personal computers. Hard to believe, right? Well, back in the early 70s, computers were massive machines only large corporations could afford. But that was all about to change. One of the most important innovations of this decade was the birth of the personal computer. In 1975, the Altair 8800 was released. It was the first commercially successful personal computer, igniting a fire that would soon grow into giants like Microsoft and Apple. This was also the decade when Bill Gates and Steve Jobs started their journeys, forever changing the world of technology. Chapter 2. Video Game Consoles. For many, the 70s marked the dawn of the video game era. One game, in particular, put video gaming on the map. You've probably heard of it, Pong. Released in 1972 by Atari, Pong was a simple two-player tennis game that became a sensation, paving the way for the gaming industry we know today. It wasn't long before home consoles like the Magnavox Odyssey hit the market, bringing the arcade experience into the living room. The 70s was the birth of interactive entertainment, a concept that would explode in the coming decades. Chapter 3. The Microprocessor. If there was one innovation that truly revolutionized technology, it was the microprocessor. In 1971, Intel introduced the Intel 4004, the first commercially available microprocessor. This tiny chip could process data and execute instructions, becoming the brain of the computer. From computers to calculators, this innovation kickstarted the digital revolution, reducing the size and cost of computers and opening the door to the compact, powerful devices we use today. Chapter 4. The birth of the VCR. Before streaming and DVDs, there was the VCR. First introduced in the early 70s, this bulky, fascinating device gave people the power to watch movies and television shows on their schedule. The first major consumer VCR, the Sony U-matic, was launched in 1971. Later in the decade, VHS tapes became standard. It's hard to overstate just how revolutionary this was for home entertainment. For the first time, the control was in the hands of the viewer. Chapter 5. The rise of digital watches. While smartwatches might dominate today, it was the 70s that gave us the first digital watches. Companies like Hamilton Watch Company and Pulsar released the first LED digital watches, a far cry from the analog watches that had dominated for centuries. It was not just a gadget, but a symbol of futuristic technology. It didn't have the smart features of today's devices, but it laid the groundwork for the wearable tech we use today. Chapter 6. The Space Shuttle Program. In 1972, NASA announced the Space Shuttle Program, a bold move that aimed to create reusable spacecraft. While the first shuttle, Columbia, didn't launch until 1981, the 70s saw the planning and development that made it all possible. This program redefined space exploration, providing a platform for space missions that could be used over and over again. It was a giant leap forward for human space travel. Chapter 7. The Laserdisc and Optical Technology. While VHS dominated the home video market, the 70s also introduced the Laserdisc, an optical disc technology that would become the precursor to CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs. Though it didn't achieve mass-market success, it paved the way for the optical media that followed. This format was important because it showed how digital storage and playback could revolutionize media, a shift that would only grow more significant as time passed. Chapter 8. The Invention of the MRI. The 70s also brought a medical breakthrough, the MRI. First developed by Dr. Raymond Damadian in 1977, the MRI used magnetic fields and radio waves to image the inside of the human body without the need for surgery or harmful radiation. It revolutionized the medical field. Today, MRIs are an essential diagnostic tool, thanks to this remarkable innovation of the 70s. Chapter 9. The Walkman. And finally, the Walkman. In 1979, Sony launched the iconic portable cassette player that allowed people to take their music on the go. It was the beginning of personal, portable music, a concept that would later lead to MP3 players and eventually streaming. The Walkman wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural icon, changing how we experience music forever. Closing remarks. The 70s might seem far away now, but the innovations of that decade continue to influence our world. From computers to space travel, video games to medical advancements, the 70s truly was a decade of transformation. Which of these innovations do you think had the biggest impact? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more trips down memory lane.